So this video is aiming to cover the learning outcome that we have in evidence-based dentistry for dental public health, to talk about the best way to search for evidence base. This is something that was covered probably as part of your first year induction to the course when you had your library induction, but obviously that was a little while ago, so I'm just going to go over it again. This is really useful for a number of reasons. The most obvious to you at this stage is when you're working on your journal club. Obviously, as second years, you are in semester 2 required to work with the first years to find papers and provide evidence base for a journal club. And you will find as second years, you're probably obviously going to be taking the lead on that role as it's very new to the first year. So you'll find this very useful for that. And then in the not too distant future, in just a few months, in fact, when you move into third year in semester 1, you'll be working on your literature review. And that, as you can probably tell by the name of the assessment, involves searching for a lot of evidence base. So understanding this process just now is really helpful for when you get to that point, which is not very far away. So like I said, you should be familiar with some, if not all of this. It may just be the vision, or some of it may be new to you. So there's lots and lots of ways that you can search for evidence base. Predominantly what I'm going to be talking about in this session is research and journal papers. Now there is other evidence base, obviously, that finds itself in different places on the hierarchy of evidence, but there is still a place for things like textbooks and online resources that aren't journal based. As long as you're aware of the quality of the evidence that you're looking at. But what we're really thinking about here is journal papers and articles. So the traditional way to do this was to go to a library that subscribed to these particular journals and search through them. And it was a long and lengthy process. And you got a hard copy. Often you weren't able to keep that or even take it out the library or even really photocopy it because of copyright legislation. It was a case of reading it there and then in the library, taking notes as best you could. And you can still do that, particularly if you're looking for a really old article. There are times for various reasons that you might want to do that, and you may still need to go down that route. And the UHI library does have a number of hard copies of journals available in various locations. So if you did need to do that, you could go through that process. But a much more common and easy way to do it now, obviously, is using online resources. And the great thing about doing it online is that you get a copy of that to keep. And whether that be a PDF or if it's a web page HTML link, then you can screenshot and all that kind of stuff. So you get it to keep, and it's not just a process of quickly writing notes because you'll never see it again. There are a lot of websites that you can use for this. I'm going to look at 3 in particular, but you will find others. But once you've used a couple of them, they all have a similar format, really. So then once you can use a couple, you can use them all. The first thing I'm going to look at is the UHI library. And the reason why I would use the UHI library as your first port of call is because the university subscribes to a number of journals that mean that you can access more full articles. If you're using a website that is not affiliated through the university, you will probably find that a lot of articles you can only get an abstract. And if you want the full article, you have to pay for it. And you shouldn't ever really be in a position as a student where you have to do that. The university has subscriptions for exactly that reason. So if you go through the UHI search process, it links you to the university. And sometimes you have to log into certain websites using your university login, and you're prompted to do that. But starting from the point of the UHI library is the best way to do it. And if you're doing it on a UHI network, so in a UHI building, whether that be our own dental centres or other university campuses or libraries, then you often don't even have to sign into these websites because it recognises that you're on a UHI network. So I would go to UHI library as your first port of call. So when you're on the UHI library webpage, this is the generic UHI one. Whether you're looking at Inverness College or Lewscastle College, it may vary slightly in its appearance, but ultimately it's got all the same things there. And when you go to the university library webpage, you'll see you've got a number of options. Now, I would really hope that you are familiar with this webpage already, because in terms of like your core reading and things, it's available through here, but I'll just do a quick run through just in case you're not. So this is the main page. The first thing to think about is multi-search. Now, the great thing about multi-search is if you put in your keywords that you want to search for, it will search everything that the university has available to it, whether that be books, electronic resources, journal articles, video links, everything that they have a link to. So if you're starting off on just a really broad search and you haven't got any specific form of media in mind, then multi-search is absolutely your way to go. So that's what we're going to look at first. Now, for the sake of all these searches that I'm about to do, I'm going to use the search term amalgam or dental amalgam. But you put in anything you want. The more specific the keywords you use, the less results you will get. And that can either be a good or a bad thing. It really depends on what you're searching for. If you're looking for something that's a very broad topic and you're not really bothered about which specifics you go for, or maybe you're just looking for inspiration for the start of your search process, then you want quite a broad topic. So dental amalgam is a very broad topic, and I will get a lot of results from that. If you have something key in mind that you are searching for, which may well be the case with your journal club articles or when you're doing your literature review, then you want to be more specific with your keywords because it gives you less things to search through in the end. You are always probably going to end up with hundreds or sometimes even thousands of results, but the more specific you are with your search, the less results you will get. So that can be a good or a bad thing. So with multi-search, I'm going to start off with that option and then we'll come back and look at the others. So if I just type dental amalgam into there and just hit return, it's going to do a search for me. Like I said, it's looking at everything that it has available within within the UHI library. So it's come up with the results. Now you can see it has given me over 33,000 results. That's because I've used a broad term and I've done the multi-search and I haven't refined it at all. And you can just scroll down and see the type of things you've got. So it'll give you the title of whatever you've searched, whatever it's come up with, and then it will tell you what it is. So these first two ones are all journal articles. And if we go down, we might find some other options at some point. And it just goes on, page by page. And you just can search through until you find what you're looking for. Now, if that's too wide for you and you think, actually, well, I'm a bit overwhelmed by that, there's a few things you can do to refine it. So if you look at these options down the left-hand side of the screen here, you will see that there's refinement options. So thinking about content type first, this is what I mean. Now, the majority of the results I've got for this are journal articles, and that's usually commonplace because there are more individual journal articles than there are textbooks. So 2/3 of the results from this have come from journal articles, but there are some newspaper articles, some books or ebooks, magazine articles, all that kind of thing, and you can expand that out even further. It's going to tell you lots of different options. And the brackets afterwards is how many they've got. So do you know realistically whether it's worth clicking on that or not? You can see that it's only giving me one option for electronic resource, so I'm probably not going to tick that. But it's given me a lot of options for, say, newspaper articles, so you can be specific. But if we think just about journal articles, if I click on this, what that's going to do is automatically going to take out everything else. So now I've just got journal articles. The section up above will allow you to refine it even further in terms of how much information you get. You will find that a lot of the time what you get is abstracts. And you should be familiar with an abstract. The abstract is the bit that you get right at the start of a journal paper that basically is a summary or an overview of the whole paper. Abstracts are designed to catch your attention, to make you want to go on and read the whole thing, so you can get an idea of whether it's what you want or not before you go through the process of reading what could be quite a lengthy thing. And abstracts are almost always available for free, but then the whole paper may not be available unless you have a specific subscription to that journal. So if you just want an abstract, which may be initially quite a good idea, then that's fine. However, if you're looking specifically for full articles, we've got 24,000 there. That's going to take us a long time to individually click on those and find out if it's a full paper or not. So you can refine it further. And if you click full text online, then it will cut it right down to the ones that you can view. So that's actually half the amount there. So we're now at 12,000. Still a lot, but either way. And then you can go to other things. You can click it to make sure it's a peer-reviewed, and you can click to see if it's actually available as a hard copy in the UHI library. So lots and lots of ways to refine your search. And all search mediums, search websites have those options, and I'll show you a couple as we go on through this. So I've refined this down. I've only got journal articles and I've only got full text available online articles. So I'm going to just go with this first one and see how we get on. So I'm going to click here where it says full text online because that's going to take me to that link. If I click on these, they're the authors and it will take me to more work by them. So you want to go with the link. So if you click on there. Now, sometimes it'll ask you to sign in again using your UHI login. Sometimes you don't have to. It hasn't asked me to do it for this one. And this has taken me to this article. Now, at the moment, it's just in as an abstract. So we need to now see if we're able to view this article using our UHI login or if it's not available to us. And depending on what page it's linked you to, there'll be various different ways. You're looking for where it says full text, or sometimes it's PDF or something like that. So I'm going to click here and it says continue reading full article. And there we go. It has taken me to the full article. So that's a long one. That's visible then as a web page. You may also be able to download it as a PDF. You see I've got the option here. Sometimes that isn't an option, depending on the subscription, but for this one, it's making that available to me. So I can now save that to my computer, and I've permanently got a copy of that I can use for whatever I want to use it for. So that's the university library, and that is the first option I would always suggest you go through to find papers, because you've got the biggest scope available to you on multi-search. So the other way you might want to do it if you're looking for papers is you might be wanting to look for a specific journal. Maybe you've heard that there's a particular paper in one publication of that journal, or you've heard that that journal has got the kind of information that you need. So the way to do that is to use the UHI e-journal gateway. So we can click on that again through the university library pages. And what this does is it lists every single journal that the university has access to in one shape or form. They're listed alphabetically. So say we were looking for the Journal of the British Society of Dental Hygiene and Therapy, it's called Dental Health. We would search for it through D, obviously, for dental health. And it takes you through a few different pages, and eventually you will come to the page here, and we can see here we've got dental health. And what this is telling us here is that the UHI library has access to the journals in dental health from the 1st of July 2013 up until the present date. So as long as you're looking for something that's within that time frame, it's got it available. The best way I find is to use the link under here. Technically you can search it by article or text through the UHI webpage, but I find that's a little bit clunky. You're better to go directly to the journal page itself. So it's telling us to click on here. Again, it may ask you to log in using your university credentials, or it may not. It just depends on the link that you're using. And now it's taken us to the sort of front category page for that journal. And what you can do is you can search within this publication using this link here. So again, I'm going to go with the whole dental amalgam thing. So always leave the top box, that's because that's the journal it's searching, and you can put your search criteria in these boxes here. Now you'll see it automatically straight away gives you options to define your search. You can do it there, or you can click search and then refine your results after that. So this is going to give you a much smaller set of results because you're being very specific with your search. We're looking at one specific journal here, and those journals are only available from 2013. So if you're looking for a specific article in a specific journal, this is the way to go, because if you try and search it through multi-search, you're going to have to wade through loads until you find it, whereas this is going to give you a more specific search route. So this has just given me 5 results, and you can see here there's a variety of things available. This one here is given as an option to go for a full PDF, so the full text of that article. So if I click on this, it should take me to that. And there we go. It may give you the option to download it and save it, which this one is. It may not. It just depends on the rights available to that. If we go back and look at the other options that were available for that, this one is just giving us an abstract. And we don't have access to that full article, although it does give you the option to search for it through the university library, but you'll see that it's telling us that there aren't any holdings available for that particular journal. It's really to do with the level of subscription that the university has available. So that's the eJournal Gateway, and if you're looking for a specific paper from a specific journal, eJournal Gateway is the way to do it. And there are the other options. There's about searching the library catalogue, looking for hard copies of things, which you should be familiar with because you should have been using the library for a while by now. But I think the multi-search tool and looking at the eJournal Gateway are the best options in terms for if you're looking for journal papers with evidence base. A couple of other websites that I want to show you that I personally find quite useful. The first one is PubMed. So PubMed, you can see, is the US National Library of Medicine and the UK National Institutes for Health come together to collate tens of thousands, probably millions of journal papers in various different forms. Some are free full text. They go back a long way into history, or they can be really up to date. This is out with UHI. So you will find using PubMed, you will come across the option to have to pay for papers more often, probably, which is why I'm suggesting to use UHI as your first protocol. But the actual process by which you search things is very similar to what we've just done. It's like using the multi-search option. So we're just going to go straight into this search bar here and write our dental amalgam. Search for that. And there we go. So that's given me just 9,500 results. And again, I've got all these options in terms of refinement. This is why I like PubMed, because I feel that this refinement's really easy to use. You can select publication dates. So if you have a specific range of dates that you're looking for, or if you just want very up-to-date ones, you can click within 5 years, and it'll take out everything that's not in there. So that's really cut it down. And it's going to give me the option of if I want abstracts, free full text, or full text. Now, full text you may still need to pay for. So if you're looking for it free, then make sure you click full free text. So now I've got 196 papers available to me that without even clicking on them, I know are within the last 5 years and they are a free full text available. It cuts things down a lot for you, makes it much easier. If we go to this first one here, so it will initially take you more than likely to the abstract, and you can have a quick read of that and think, is that what I'm after? Yes, it is. And then this has told us that it's a free full text, so we should be able to view the whole thing. Where it is on the page depends on the publisher. This one is giving us the option to click up there. Sometimes it's also here, it will say link out to more resources, and that's where we're going to get the full text. It's the same place, it's just providing it in a different format, basically. But if we click on that, and there we go. So this is taking us straight to that journal and to that article. And the full text is available in a web form or in a PDF form. PDF you can save, that's the advantage of doing it that way, but it just really depends on what you're after. So it's very similar in terms of its setup as UHI Search PubMed. in the way that you can filter it and things. And then the last one is Google Scholar. Now, Google Scholar is, the advantage of Google Scholar is it's really easy to come across because obviously it's a Google product. The disadvantage is it's a wee bit more difficult to refine your search quite so easily. So it just starts off on this blank page, and we can put dental amalgam in there. Now, it is a vast database, as you might expect from Google. It's come up there with 97,000 results. So it is huge. And in terms of refinement, you can only really refine it by date. But what it does give you is, you'll see down this side here, it's actually telling us a wee bit more information. So this here, we don't have any more information, which suggests that it's only available as an abstract. This here, however, tells us that it's got a full view and it's also got a PDF available. It doesn't, however, tell us whether it's free or not, so you would need to click on that to see. It's taken us straight to the PDF, so it was free. But other ones might not be quite so straightforward. If we go down here a little bit further and see what we've got available. See, a lot of these don't have anything written next to them, which suggests that it may not be available. If we click on this one, it's going to take us to that particular website and we'll see what's available there. So this is allowing us to search through the article really easily, without even having to download it even. So it's just about looking at this down bar here to see whether you've got a full paper or not. Sometimes an abstract is all you need. It just depends on what you're searching for and why. So what I'd like you to do now is you need to practice using these things. So you've all got a journal club session assigned to you this semester with a topic attached to it. So I suggest that you do this task using that topic, because otherwise you're just going to have to do it again at another date. And I want you to use these resources that I've talked about here, and potentially others if you're aware of them, to search for this evidence base, to use the refinement options to allow you to narrow down your search, and also play around with your keywords that you're using to search. Try big, broad topics, or try very specific ones, just to see the kind of different outcomes that gives you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a discussion board available for just this particular learning outcome, and I'd like you to post your comments on it as to how you find the process. Is there anything that you've found difficult, any barriers that you come across? Or are you finding this process really easy? Do you have any particular links that you find useful that I maybe haven't mentioned here that others would? And if we can all share our experiences, we'll probably find some common themes and things that I can help you with, and you will help each other with the various different resources that you find. So I don't need you to post the actual papers that you found on the discussion board. We'll save that for Journal Club, but I want you to talk about the actual process of finding the papers and any good things you found or any challenges you